I'm Craig Castelli, CEO of Caber Hill. Dentistry has long been one of the most stable and predictable industries in the United States. M&A activity has followed suit. As we roll into 2023, we continue to see very high valuations, strong buyer demand, and a lot of completed transactions. Now I'd like to introduce our managing directors who lead our efforts in the dental industry, Kurt Harvey and Maria Melone, as they'll share their outlook for M&A in 2023. As always, thanks for watching.
2023 is a good time for sellers. Actually, I think a lot of times are, because mainly right now there's nearly $2 trillion of dry powder, they call it, for private equity and venture capital sitting on the sidelines. And a lot of that private equity actually backs portfolio companies, which are larger DSOs in the industry. So in some fashion or form, there's a lot of money to be put to work.
I would say there's probably three broader market trends that we're seeing having an impact, particularly in the dental industry. The first is inflation. Obviously, this makes running a practice much more challenging when you have rising expenses, combined with the fact that we have an increased influence of dental insurance, and most of those dental insurance companies are continuing to put downward pressure on reimbursements. And so that, makes it very challenging when you have your costs going up, but your revenue potentially coming down.
Lending has started to tighten as well. I mean, interest rates have been rising and there's a lot of money to be lent. It's just in this time where it's kind of like a slow, leaky balloon. I heard somebody say, as opposed to just a balloon pop like it was in 2008, 2009. But from a financial perspective, this kind of recession is just that slow leak. And so lending has tightened and it will continue to tighten. So they're just chasing smarter deals as opposed to not just less deals.
And then the last thing I think that's impacting us is the rising wages, and certainly the tightening labor force. I mean, we hear from practices all over the country how difficult it is to find good employees. And certainly we're seeing wage rates continuing to increase. And again, getting back to my earlier comment about the pressures of, expenses increasing and downward pressures on revenue from insurance companies, we certainly are not seeing insurance companies increasing their reimbursement rates, even to reflect these, cost of living adjustments and inflation adjustments that are impacting practices all over the country.
Buyers are bringing sellers to the table in a few ways. Largely, they look to us. A lot of the private equity and venture capital and larger DSOs that are active, they're looking for an investment banking channel that brings deals to the market in their industry. So that's, that is certainly one way.
If a seller isn't ready to transact this year, but thinking about in a year or two, I think three things that I would focus on are, first of all, make sure you understand your numbers, both historical and prospective. The second thing that I would suggest is all your underlying paperwork organized and easily accessible. It certainly will make the process a lot simpler and smoother. And the last thing I would say is to really reach out and talk to a credible advisor.
The decision to sell a company is a very big, very hard decision to make. And business owners are up against a lot when they decide to take their companies to market. Private equity investors and large corporations have professionals who spend all of their time buying companies. They're experts at getting the best deal for themselves. Business owners are experts at running their companies, not necessarily selling them. That's where we step in. At Caber Hill Advisors, we don't try to be everything to everybody. Instead, all we do is advise privately held businesses in very specific industries on the sale of their companies, and we get results. In fact, 100% of our clients have received offers at or above the valuation expectations that we've agreed on at the beginning of the process. If you'd like to learn more about what Caber Hill can do for you, reach out to anyone you saw in this video today.